Hey there, and welcome. Have you ever stopped to think if there's like a universal recipe for creating, well, everything? I'm talking about the phone in your hand, the food you ate for lunch. Well, it turns out, in the world of economics, there actually is one. So let's break down this universal recipe ingredient by ingredient.
I mean, seriously, think about it for a second. What are the absolute rock-bottom essential things you need to produce any good or any service? It seems like it would be wildly complicated, right? But it actually boils down to just 4 core ingredients.
So, here's our plan for today. We're going to start with the recipe itself. Then we'll look at each of the 4 key ingredients. What we get from the earth, the human element, the tools we build, and finally, the master chef who puts it all together. And then we'll wrap up by looking at why this simple recipe is so crucial for understanding, well, pretty much everything about our economy.
Okay, let's dive right in. Before we start listing ingredients, we need to give this recipe a name. In economics, this whole foundational idea is called
The factors of production. It sounds a bit formal, I know, but just think of it as the official name for our universal recipe. Economists have basically sorted everything, and I mean everything, that goes into making stuff into these 4 simple buckets. Once you get these 4, you'll start seeing them absolutely everywhere.
All right, on to our first ingredient, and this is a big one that people often get a little wrong. See, when an economist talks about land, they're talking about a whole lot more than just the dirt under our feet.
It's the foundation of everything. It's every single natural resource, completely untouched by people, that we use as a raw material. You can think of it as the planet's natural gift basket. And the scope here is just massive. It's not just the obvious stuff, like the rich farmland you'd find in Lincolnshire. It's also the oil and gas buried deep under the North Sea. It's the minerals in the ground, the fish in our rivers, and even something you can't touch, like the wind that spins those huge turbines up in Scotland. Basically, if nature provided it, economists call it land.
So, you've got your raw materials. What comes next? Well, you need people to do something with them. And that brings us to our second key ingredient, labor.
Labor is the human piece of the puzzle. It's all the physical work, all the mental effort, all the brain power that people pour into making things happen. From a builder hauling bricks to a software engineer writing code, it's all labor.
But, and this is a big but, not all labor is created equal, right? The quality of that labor is hugely important. Think about the difference between, say, an NHS surgeon who has gone through years and years of intense training and someone working an entry-level retail job. Both are absolutely essential to the economy, but the skill, the training, and the economic value they produce are worlds apart.
Okay, so we've got natural resources and we've got human effort. To really kick things into high gear, we need a third ingredient, the tools that we build to help us. And this is what economists call capital.
Now, this is a really important point. Capital isn't a natural resource. It's stuff that we make specifically to help us produce other things more efficiently. You can think of it as a force multiplier for our labor.
And capital is literally all around us. It's the gigantic assembly line in a car factory, sure, but it's also the shelves and checkouts in a supermarket. It's the laptop that an office worker uses every single day, or even the simple hammer in a builder's toolbox. They're all man-made items used to produce something else. Now, when we talk about capital, there is one giant mistake that nearly everyone makes. It is probably one of the most common mix-ups in basic economics.
And there it is. In economics, money itself is not considered capital. So why not? Well, think about it. You can't build a house with a pile of 20-pound notes. You can't write code on a stack of coins. Money is what we use to buy capital goods, like the machinery or the laptop, but it isn't the productive asset itself. That is such a key distinction.
Okay, so we've got our 3 core ingredients, land, labor, and capital. But they don't just magically mix themselves together to create a finished product. You need one final, super important ingredient to bring it all to life. You need the master chef. You need enterprise.
Enterprise is that spark of an idea. It's the organization, the vision, and crucially, the willingness to take a huge risk. It's the person, the entrepreneur, who looks at all the other ingredients and says, hey, I think I can combine these in a new way to create something valuable.
So, what does this master chef, this entrepreneur, actually do? Well, it all starts with that light bulb moment, the idea. But an idea is just the beginning. Then they have to do the hard work of gathering the other ingredients, finding the resources, hiring the people, buying the tools. And here's the scariest part. They take the financial risk. They put their own money on the line, hoping it all works out.
If it does, they create innovation and something brand new.
A perfect example of this is James Dyson. He had the brilliant idea and the engineering expertise. That's his skilled labor. He then had to get the factories and machinery. That's the capital. And hire a whole team of people. That's more labor. He took an enormous financial risk, but by combining all those factors in a new way, he completely changed an entire industry. That right there is enterprise in action.
So, land, labor, capital, and enterprise. We've gone through the whole list, but why is it so important to actually know this four-part recipe? Why does it matter?
So let's put it all together one last time. There it is, our universal recipe. We start with the natural gifts from the planet, our land. We apply our human brain power and muscle, our labor. We boost that effort with the tools we've built, our capital. And the whole thing is brought together by the vision and the risk-taking of enterprise. Every single thing, every good, every service in our economy is just some unique combination of these four building blocks. And that's really the big takeaway here. This isn't just some abstract theory for a textbook. It's a powerful lens. When you understand the factors of production, you can look at any company, any industry, or even an entire country and start to really understand how it works, where its strengths are, and what its biggest challenges might be.
So, I'll leave you with a question to chew on. In our modern economy, which is so driven by technology, data, and new ideas, which of these four ingredients do you think is the most critical for driving real innovation and growth? Is it still about owning the land? Is it having the most skilled labor? Is it access to the best capital? Or is it that special spark of enterprise? Something to think about.